We back at it, guys. So we got Joe Budden reacting to the whole situation that went down with Myron Gaines, Marc Lamont Hill,
space with some
the nobody TikTok chick, and that situation where I guess Piers was trying to set up like some viral moment where this random white chick says the N-word with the hard ER, and then we saw Myron pull out the gun. He shoots the flag with the hard N-word with the hard ER, and everybody was kind of like picking sides and shit. So now it's like seeped into the hip-hop world. Let's get into what Joe Budden got to say. And, Joe, not my cup of tea, but let's see what he got to say here.
space with someone who proudly says, I think black people are niggers. I think this 5-year-old autistic kid is a nigger. I respect my right of free speech to be able to call y'all niggers, and I don't care what y'all think about it. There is not, for me, I'm not telling nobody else how to
Can I
move.
respond to you after you finish?
For me, there isn't a scenario you could create where that person has the opportunity.
I think we got soft, man. I watch Phil Donahue. I watch a lot of people from back in the days put different people to debate.
You're naming a white man.
Huh? Excuse me?
You're naming a white man.
All right.
But you do that a lot where you compare
Oprah.
us to what white people do, and I'm not going to do that with you.
I don't give a it's not about that. What I'm saying is that we got soft when it comes to content. You're always just trying to, don't put yourself in that position, when back in the day, society started like that. Niggas, people will put two people on the opposite side to have conversations. Malcolm X, you can talk about Malcolm X, you can talk about whomever. That happens. He didn't do nothing wrong. And it happens, and now it's like, you can't be frowned upon. You did what you're supposed to do. You handled it how you're supposed to handle it. You're going to be in the room with some of these people. Some of these people gain so much popularity, they're going to be in the same room as you.
See, I think we got soft by...
It's either you get up and you walk away.
I think we got soft by letting Nazis and racists have let's hear their side.
Yeah.
No.
But that's soft.
No.
That's soft. All right, but the powers that may be are the one in power and the ones with the attention that can get you to spread your rhetoric around or defend the culture.
Mark,
so sometimes you have to take that stance and say, I'm going in here to defend our culture. And it shouldn't be frowned upon on a man that goes in there and defend the culture.
Mark,
and
you can't have a conversation by yourself, though. That's the thing. Some of these folks is not trying to have a conversation. People always want to cower. But flip.
Oh, come on. I'm going to save my space. Not you. I'm not making fun of y'all. But
I don't think you're wrong. I don't think you're wrong. I'm just trying to tell you that the other side of that, somebody like that dude, he ain't trying to have a conversation.
I don't know anything about him.
But
the first time I heard about him is when Joe did that for the shit.
But everything you see from him does not show he's trying to have a conversation. If two people want to have a conversation and try to, I want to hear your side, I want to hear your side, that's one thing.
Got it.
If I'm in here, because now in this level of content world is something different. It's, I got to do the extras to go, I got to, it might not even be shit I believe. I just got to do the extras so I can be seen. I'm not trying to have a conversation. I'm not trying to hear you out.
Why?
Mark, let me ask you a
Because
question.
y'all come in here and stand on content over everything. So a lot of times,
I'm the only one that do that. And
that's not true.
This is a foolish angle.
That's not true.
He adopts
some of these niggas believe in content over anything.
Yes.
So as loud and dumb as I could be, it's gonna get picked up by the network. So they running with it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mark,
I don't believe in that.
Mark, let me ask you a question.
I don't believe in that.
Let me ask you a question. When you saw the panel, and I know that a bunch of things, went through your head as to whether or not you should participate, did it cross your mind that if I leave, then this panel, like there will be no proper representative of somebody who's intellectual, scholarly, and can articulate the points, the being on the right side of history?
Yeah.
Did you think that if you weren't part of this conversation, that it would just be
them?
Yeah, exactly, and it would be derailed by the racist bitch.
Now you can't argue with fools.
I have thought that before, and that's been an argument that a lot of us use to go to these places that we want to be. And I think sometimes we use it to let ourselves off the hook. Like, I can always convince myself that there's value in me being there, and for any of us, our presence is added value. But sometimes we don't want to legitimize those spaces with our presence.
Yeah.
There's a lot of factors, and everything y'all said is connected. There is the content thing. When I go on Piers, 3 or 4 million people see it. Those 3 or 4 million people then often come to my YouTube channel. They then watch the stuff that I have to say.
And that is how the game is typically played.
Yes. He also lets me cut down the clips and put it in reposition so I get paid from doing it. I mean, there is an angle to it, both politically and financially, that I don't want to be dishonest about. But then the other part of it for me is I do see myself as an educator. And I do think that intervening in those spaces and having a conversation that people otherwise won't hear does matter. But there has to be a line. For me, Candace is like that line. Right? Candace is as extreme as I want to have a debate with.
Same.
By the way. And Myron Gaines, I know he's a provocateur, but I didn't quite understand just how off ridiculous he was until I watched it. The white woman, I didn't know who she was, and Piers, from what he told me afterward, didn't know that she was a white supremacist. Now,
I'm curious as to how she even got on the show. Like,
because all you got to do in this content world, to Ish's point, is just say that kid deserved it.
But who do they?
And if you say that loud enough on TikTok, somebody will book you and give you a bigger platform because some people believe in content or everything. I think she believes it, but I think she's just loud. She's not anybody of substance, right? So she jumps up and does that. And so when Piers said, do you use the N-word? Everybody thought she was going to say no. Because I've been on TV for 20 years and no one's ever said yes. Even people I know who use it. And she was like, yeah. Wait, you use it at home? Yes, I do. Yeah, so
it took him by surprise. I didn't see the whole thing, but it took him by surprise because he kept being like, so you think you're a disgusting, deplorable individual? And she was like, no,
okay, right.
Whatever, nigga. So that's how she was looking at it.
Right. And that's the moment where I was like, where the fuck am I? That's the moment where I was like, wait, I'm on here with a woman from TikTok who calls niggas at home, and I'm here with Myron Gaines, who now isn't the worst person on this panel. If I'm on the panel with Myron, isn't the worst person?
What did he say? Because I didn't see him talk.
So that's the thing.
Whatever he said, we not even.
Yeah, I'm not even. But listen,
I'm saying he was bugging.
I won't recount it. But it was an hour conversation, and he said all the shit you would expect him to say, and then at the end, when I did have that blow up, they bleeped it, but he was waving a flag that said nigger.
No. He was shooting a gun.
A gun. I'm sorry.
It's a bang
shot
gun.
out a
and
flag.
It pops out with the flag.
I couldn't even see that part. Okay.
That, because it was blurred out. You couldn't see it. But back to my... Listen, the point is...
Okay,
they could pull out rifles with flags that say nigger. They could do the nigger hokey pokey. They could do whatever they want by themselves. It's different with Mark, while Mark is present. The second I'm sitting there and I learn who this person is in real time, because I do get Piers might have been surprised too, and I get there's some trust between.
And Piers, you and Piers have a rapport.
Yeah, but we've been working together for 15 years. We were CNN together.
Yeah, but for me that contradicts the thinking of some of my Muslim brothers. There's a common belief that I won't say, and if a little bit of that is there. Then I don't trust you enough with this, Piers. I can't. I don't care how long I've known you. I don't care about our rapport. I don't care if we've gone out for dinner. I cannot, ethically, and who I am and my whole everything I ride for, trust you,
I see
a white man,
I don't understand,
to protect certain things.
He's saying no matter what
I can't.
The rapport
You can't.
is, I can't trust you.
You cannot. You
The
can't.
equity I built in the code, like who I am.
And I
can't trust you to handle this.
Okay, guys, so that was Joe Budden's take. So his whole thing is like, his whole argument is like, okay, you shouldn't give any type of airtime to an individual that fundamentally disagrees with you, or on the total opposite side, or in this case, she was an open racist towards Marc Lamont Hill. You shouldn't be able to exchange ideas or come to an understanding, which is stupid, because then how do you solve any problems like that, right? Just avoiding anyone. But then, like, to his defense, like, let's keep it all the way real. Like, who the fuck was this bitch? Like, I literally, I did a little bit of research, and she's just some random thought that goes on X, typing a whole bunch of, like, shit for shock value. And then I guess, like, people get a hard on because she's, like, this openly racist white chick. But it's like, why would you pair her up with Marc Lamont Hill, who's like a scholar and the dude's like an educator and stuff like that? But, I'm all for it. Look, I defend her right to use free speech. I don't care what she says, right? I defend anybody's right to use free speech. But you're not going to go around and, campaign for somebody not being canceled or having their jobs stripped away from them for them saying some offensive shit, because these companies have a reputation and they have investors and they have consumers, and they don't want to piss any of those off. The CEO might be a racist, right? But at the same time, it's like half of his clients are black. So you're going viral disrespecting black people, and you work at the institution. I'm going to tell you to get the fuck out of my fucking company. You know what I mean? So again, like, yeah, weird pairing there. I think if it would have been Marc Lamont Hill, Myron, and then if you would have bring, like, another, like, maybe a Nick Fuentes, then that would have been a more, that would have been definitely a way better back and forth, right? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. You guys agree with Joe Budden, or let me know.